Well, Matt, a week since we spoke after the Tranmere game, and sort of counting the cost a little bit of that one, both in the results and bodies available. How's it been during the intervening week?
Yeah, like you say, just seeing where we're at with the bodies, but yeah, disappointing result on reflection. But yeah, disappointing with the injuries that were forced to make, the three substitutions. Um, yeah, and how the game panned out in the early stage, and unfortunately, just in recent weeks, that the first goal hasn't gone for us, and yeah, we find ourselves on not a great run, which is the first time it's happened for a very long time, and. But certainly the spirits aren't down. We've got a great team spirit within the group anyway, and just as much as we've been flying high over recent seasons, and the group certainly doesn't get too high, we won't be getting too low after just a run of a few results here, which haven't gone for us. So we were trained hard this week, worked hard on a few things, and we look forward to a game on Saturday in a local derby, and one we're relishing with our travelling support as well.
And I know it's a slightly odd thing to say because the goals are the crucial thing. To take out the goals, given the disruption we had during the game, and there wasn't a lot between the sides other than the goals in last week's game. So that must have been a positive sign.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the goals, and certainly the way the lead up to the penalty and Aaron Pierre going off at that moment and shuffling it where we're defending that ball coming into our box, and the penalty we give away, we just looked a little bit disorganised there, and understandably so, but still we should be dealing with that better. And then a goal right on the stroke of half time where I thought either side of their first goal, we were the team on the ascendancy. We looked more on the front foot, and we looked more of the threat to go and get the goal. And then we give them the 2-goal lead at half time, and for them then to have something to defend and protect in the second half, which I thought they did quite well.
And obviously the main thing, one of the things was, again, the players coming off injured. So how's it been during the week? And it was Lewis, John, Aaron Pierre and Will Randall all had to come off during the game. How's it looking with them?
Yeah, they're all not too bad at all. Just little knocks and niggles, and nothing glaringly obvious is going to keep them out for a hell of a long time. And they've all actually got a chance for tomorrow. So I'm obviously not going to start saying who is and who isn't fit for tomorrow's game exactly. But all of them are not too bad at all.
And in terms of other players that have been out, is the positive news from those as well, the likes of Sam Hart?
Yeah, he's had a full week's training, and so's Jack Rose. So yeah, there's a couple who have been out for us who are knocking on the door and threatening to be back in the squad as well.
And looking at the game tomorrow, it's a local derby, a game that supporters of both sides I think would have been looking forward to since the fixture list came out. And we haven't really had we played clubs like Bromley, but Sutton against Wimbledon is a local derby probably that we haven't had in the last 2 or 3 years. So it must be a great game for people to look forward to.
Yeah, it was obviously the distance between, I think the history between the two clubs as well. I think it was AFC Wimbledon's first game after reforming at Gander Green Lane. So I know there's certainly a connection between the two clubs as well as the location. And I don't believe that Sutton have played Wimbledon in a league game before. I think they might bypass them on Wimbledon's rise up the leagues. But I know there's been the FA Cup games, and I attended the one at Kings Meadow when Sutton beat them to obviously then go and face Leeds. So no, I'm sure it'd be a good atmosphere there, a local derby, two teams who are probably wanting a result, and yeah, a big crowd, a good atmosphere, and it will certainly have a real derby feel about it, and we look forward to it.
And having come down from League One, they'll be disappointed with the fact that they're sort of closer to the bottom than the top at the moment, and be looking to make amends for that, just as we're looking to end a run of 4 consecutive league defeats.
Yeah, I know their manager really well. I've known him since I was in the youth team at Spurs, so I know Jacko well, and I know he certainly had a tough challenge in the summer with them getting relegated, and the run that they were on to get relegated, and no wins in quite a number of games. So they've had a fair bit of turnaround of players. But no, I know him and the club will certainly have aspirations to be up towards the top end of the league. But it's still very much early days here, and I'm sure they've got a couple of injuries as well, that once things settle down, that they'll soon pick up a few results, as we will too.
And a chance for us to come up against our former goalkeeper, the guy that you signed on loan for the second half of one season, Nick Zanev, and a chance for your assistant Jason Goodliff going back to the club where he was so popular as they came up through the leagues in their new form.
Yeah, Jace had 2 successful years there, I believe. on their rise, and he captained the club and towards the end of his career. And I know a lot of Wimbledon fans think very fondly of him, and a great servant he was for the time he was there. So yeah, JC's looking forward to. I think obviously they've moved ground since when he was playing for him, so he's looking forward to going back to their new stadium and back to their home, if you like. And obviously crossing paths with Tans tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll be saying hello. And someone who did really well for us in my first season there, and came in and saw that famous game we talk about, the turning point, if you like, and the game we haven't really looked back from, of that Torquay away early November in my first season, and that was Tans's debut, and he was great for us up until COVID cut our season short. So now I've tracked his career, and he's done well and played a lot of games there, broken into their first team, and I look forward to saying hello to him tomorrow.
Looks as though it's going to be virtually a sellout tomorrow. We've sold all our allocation, bar a few that have come back that we're putting on sale early tomorrow morning, and there'll be something on the website about that shortly. But it's going to be a pretty much a sellout, so a great atmosphere to play in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure that you might even be able to correct me, but to take 1,200 sell out and sell within a matter of days, and I know you just said there's a few just been returned for whatever reason tomorrow, a handful, but they'll be, I'm sure they'll go, and that 1,200 will be sold out. And to take 1,200 away in a league fixture is again another great stat for this club, and to see how far we've moved on. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the travel and support there tomorrow.
And what sort of game are you expecting? You thinking that if it's going to be a full house, it'll be a tense and tight game?
Yeah, it'll be fast, it'll be frantic, it'll be two competitive sides. We've got a bit of experience in their side as well, so as we. So no, we're relishing the fact of going there to their place, and we like being the underdog as always, and rolling our sleeves up and nullifying them, but also looking to oppose ourselves and the many different threats that we've got to try and hurt them and get that result.
And with it being four league defeats in a row in the last few weeks, is there anything, have you sort of been looking extra closely at anything during the course of the last week to see if there's anything that can be changed just to reverse that, or is it just a case of keeping going and knowing that things will change eventually?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's anything glaringly wrong. We've just been on a little bad run at the moment, but as I said, for the previous 2.5-3 years, if you like, of what a great, even probably since that 3 years ago, since early November, that Torquay game, and the runs we've been on and the wins we've had and the places we've gone and got results and the teams we've come up against. This is the worst run in 3 years, albeit 4 games. But when you break down those 4 games, certainly not excuses, but they are facts. The injuries that we've been hit with some big and key players, and just thin dividing lines, 1-0 up against Salford and the 10 men certainly affects and kills us that game. Nothing in it at Gillingham. A night to forget at Stevenage all round, and the unfortunate injury to John Barden, which really leaves a sour taste, a disappointment for everyone involved. And then we've already reflected on last week's game and taking 2 centre halves off after the first 15 minutes, and just things not quite going for us in those games, that whereas before they might well have swung for us, and there's certainly been moments where we maybe have been fortunate and things have gone for us. So it certainly swings and roundabouts, and we're just on that, the other side of it for the time being. But all you can do is just stick together, keep training hard, keep sticking to your beliefs. Don't change in what you've been doing and why you've been so successful and why you've got so many good results. So we certainly won't come off the page. We know what we do. We know how we play. There are many ways we can play to try and get a result against different formations, different systems, different styles. And that's what we just got focusing on tomorrow in a derby. There's no better place with a big crowd and a good atmosphere to roll our sleeves up, fight like we do as a group, and get a response and get a result.
We should say, of course, Donovan, having served his suspension, he's back and available for tomorrow's game. You mentioned John Barden. Just to update people, how's he been over the past week? What's the latest with him?
He had his next operation, which was on Tuesday. I believe that was 5 hours. And they were looking to try and do 3 procedures within that if they possibly could, and I believe they were successful. So now it's just about a matter of time of resting and staying in the hospital and making sure there's no infection, and just making sure everything settles down there. So I know the lads will be looking to try and visit him over the weekend and early part of next week. I already went and saw him at the start of the week, and I'll be trying to get back up to the hospital to see him. And hopefully he can get back home and start recovering at home as soon as possible.
of course, we all wish him well, and I'm sure that he'll be pleased to see the lads. Wish you well tomorrow in the game. Should be a cracking local derby. Really looking forward to it. We'll see you there. Thanks very much, Matt.
Brilliant. Lovely. Cheers, Tony. Thanks. Bye.